Godzilla vs. Kong! It's my channel! I'll talk about what I want, Mum! Dread. Last October I decided that I would watch a horror movie a day. From things that I hadn't seen before, like Nightmare on Elm Street, to things that I love, like the original Halloween. But within all of those films, all of the classics and the moderns, I found a film called Dread, which came out in 2009, and it blew me away. Dread is a British horror film based on the short story by Clive Barker, who came up with Hellraiser and Candyman and many others. It's about some college students trying to do a psychological thesis on fear, on dread.
What if we did a fear study? Compile a survey on people's fears and what causes them. You have access to equipment through the film program, right? And you need a project for your thesis. Yeah.
They ask volunteers questions about their first fears, their first nightmares, stories that give them terror from their lives. This isn't it. This isn't scary clowns or snakes or spiders. This is about trauma. This is about fear when it overtakes your life. Now, straight away, I'm not going to spoil anything in this film. I recommend not looking up a trailer, not looking up the blurb, anything. Go into it blind as you possibly can. I think the trailer gives away far too much. I won't even be mentioning anything that happens in the last half hour. But the other thing I will ask is for you to give it some time. See, the first 15 minutes you might just feel like you're watching another low-budget horror about some teenagers at college, and it's just not going to hit you. This is a character study. It needs time. We mainly follow two characters, that of Stephen and Quaid, who have both suffered trauma in their pasts. You see, when I originally watched this film, I didn't know what I was getting into. It was just some random film that I found on Amazon Prime. One thing that I found straight away was how likeable the characters were. Or if not likeable, how much I could empathise with them. You understand these characters' motivations. You see cute scenes where characters fall in love. There are scenes in this that genuinely make you smile, which is so odd for a horror film. And it's one of the interesting things going back and watching it a second time like I did today. I never smiled. I remember the first time I watched it, there was genuine joy and grins. There were these sweet emotional moments that I was just captivated by. I liked these characters. I wanted them to find happiness. I forgot that I was watching a horror film. This time, ironically, I couldn't smile. I felt the dread. I knew what was coming. It didn't take away from anything of the film knowing where it goes. It just fills you with dread. That's what this film is. Again, I'm not even going to mention the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes that made me cry. The last 30 minutes when you hear in horror films and reviews, oh, it's the most disturbing film. Oh, people walked out of the theatre. People were throwing up. And I've never had that much of a visceral reaction to a film before. But I would understand if you threw up watching this film. I almost did. It made me gag, and that has never happened watching a film before. Even the soundtrack's got a slight joy to it with a indie punk style, and then it stops. For a low-budget horror, this film is done extremely well. The acting, the technical aspects. It's just engrossing to watch. And I'm trying to avoid the plot. I could talk about this film for hours, about how it affected me. But even me hinting at things, and I know I kind of have, but this film, it's not scary. It's terror, and it is dread, and it is fear. But it's also heartbreaking. Films can make me cry. I'm not ashamed to admit that. It is emotion, it is empathy, it is normal. Horror films, though? No. I cannot think or remember one that has ever made me this emotional. But the first time I watched it, and even this time, I cried. That is an effect that will stick with me. This isn't some Pixar film. This isn't some dog dying. This is the exploitation of someone's fear. 9 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. This is kind of the idea of the channel. I want to do one game, and then a movie, then a game, then a movie, then a game. And I was genuinely racking my mind about what film to choose first. Whether it be something new, modern, whether it be Marvel, which I will gush over most of the time. But then I could never get this film out of my head. And I've spoken about it to everyone in any horror community that I'm a part of, how much I love this film, and how much I want you to watch this film. Have a good day. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.